Hi there. I'm so glad to see that you've come back. I just launched this channel back in October and it has been a huge success. And a lot of that has to do with you. It makes me so happy to see the channel grow because that means you're learning, you're engaged, and you find value. I have spent nearly 2 decades learning and teaching Alzheimer's and dementia. There is such a lack of really useful information out there, and most professional caregivers in communities and adult living centers do not have the proper training or the knowledge to care for those with dementia. It breaks my heart to hear the stories of what's going on in these settings because these stories would never happen if the staff actually knew what they were doing. I'm Debra, certified master dementia strategist, and I am dedicating the rest of my career to educating as many people as I can. Before I get into today's video, I want to thank you. I want to thank all of you. You are the true heroes. You come back time and time again to learn how to support the people that you're caring for. You take the tools and the techniques and the strategies and you try them. You use them to improve your relationships and to make life easier for you and your person with neurodegeneration. You support each other by asking questions that maybe someone else was afraid to ask. So I want to say a big thank you to you, some of my supporters. Pam, you are my biggest fan. You're always commenting and always so positive. I love hearing from you. Keep them coming. Margie, you're taking it all in and always taking time to leave me a comment. Lisa, you're always on top of those new videos and commenting on them. Andrea, you are so brave. The struggles that you face every day, but you just keep on going. Linda, you have so much to offer the group, and I appreciate your voice on the channel. And Teresa, you ask great questions. Thank you to everyone who comments and shares the channel. We have to keep sharing and sharing. So many people don't know about this great information, and they don't know it's available to them. I love each and every one of you. You are what makes this channel a success. So please keep commenting and sharing. If you know of a senior living community, a doctor's office, or a hospital that would benefit from some training, please let them know about me or drop me a comment down below and I'll contact them. I travel the globe to do training. So today I want to talk about challenging the person with brain deterioration. This is something that we tend to do a lot. It may be intentional or unintentional, but either way, it's got to stop. The human adult brain has about 96 billion neurons. 96 billion. Think of a big ball of yarn, all twisted and tangled. Think of that yarn as the neurons in the brain. Now imagine a great big pair of sharp scissors comes along and starts cutting the strands of yarn, just randomly cutting here and there. So now you got a ball of yarn with all different lengths and pieces. Can you knit a sweater with that ball of yarn? No, because it's not a continuous strand. As you're knitting, the strand ends. So now you have a hole and a gap. You'd have to start again with a new piece of yarn. And you're knitting along, and again, you come to the end of the strand. You can't knit a sweater with pieces of yarn. Think of the brain neurons like the yarn. When the dementia deteriorates the brain, that's what's happening. The brain cells die and creates cuts or gaps in the strand of command. When the brain has these gaps between the neurons, the messages get stuck. The messages can't get in and they can't get out. This is what we have to remember when we're trying to communicate with a person with dementia, or if we're requesting them to perform a task The message might make it in, but then the brain can't get the response back out. This creates frustration for them, resulting in anger and outbursts. The messages might get in, but the message that they transmit out becomes warped. It might come out differently than they intended, or it might come out exaggerated. It could be completely different than what they intended. It's unpredictable for them. They can't control what the compromised brain will do during the distorted path that the message is taking. When a task is sent to the brain, even the simplest of actions or movements or communication takes your brain many, many steps to get there. And the different lobes of the brain do different things. You probably already knew that. But what you more likely don't know is that one simple action uses multiple parts of the brain to accomplish it. The lobes of the brain talk to each other through the white matter to perform simple tasks. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're going to brush your teeth. Let's go through even the minimal amount of steps that this would take. Now, brushing your teeth would not really be considered a complicated task. Pretty simple in comparison to something else. And it is something that we have done almost our whole lives. All right, so let's get into the steps. So first, we have to know what the task is. We're going to brush our teeth. We have to see the tool, the toothbrush. And those with dementia, they have very poor vision. And I get really deep into that in my course. But they have to see the toothbrush. Now they have to extend their arm and reach for it, right? But how far away is it? So depth perception. So far, this is a lot of steps already, and we haven't even picked it up yet. Okay, so we've extended our arm. Now we have to grasp the object. How hard do we grab it? Or how softly do we grab it? We don't grab it hard enough, it just falls out. How are our fine motor skills? I bet you're already seeing where this is going, right? Okay, so now we have the item in our hand. How do we manipulate it properly within our fingers? How is this tool used? What is the purpose of it? And even if we know the purpose of the tool, do we understand the purpose of oral hygiene anymore? Why should they brush their teeth when they no longer understand the purpose? Now we have to put some paste on the brush. How hard do we squeeze the tube and get it on the teeny tiny little brush that they can't even see? The motion of brushing. The brain is trying to coordinate all of these instructions together to perform what we think is a simple task. It's not. It's actually very, very complicated. Even the simplest of activities can be overwhelming for the damaged brain. The brain can lose track at any moment and just shut down. Have you ever seen that? Your person just stops? That's what's happening. The brain hits overload. It can't connect the dots. It just stops. It shuts down. It's like that cut up ball of yarn that can't make a sweater. The yarn, the needles, the stitches, the pattern, the hands that maneuver, all have to come together to knit that sweater. But nothing will happen if any one of those steps can't be completed. When we have brain damage, when we have Alzheimer's or dementia, nothing is considered simple anymore. Everything becomes rocket science. This brings me to the number one mistake caregivers make. We as the caregiver tend to expect the person with dementia to perform above their capabilities. And these capabilities fluctuate. So if they did it an hour ago, we expect them to be able to do it now. But that's not how dementia works. These neurons can sometimes make detours and find a different path. Sometimes it shuts down. It's unpredictable. We as the caregiver, we must lower the expectations. We can't expect anything. It's just not fair. Nothing is fair with dementia. Nothing. Their abilities are constantly changing, minute to minute, second to second. We must stop judging based on abilities. You try knitting a sweater with cut up pieces of yarn and then wear it out in public. So no more challenging people with dementia. No more asking them to do things that are beyond their capabilities. It's just mean. Simplify as much as possible and create an environment for success. Tell them that they're doing great, even if they're not. Tell them that they're important and smart. Build self-esteem whenever possible. Stay positive. They're counting on us for that. If you need some help or guidance, I do provide one-on-one coaching. Just visit my website, answersabout.alz.org. I also have some freebies there for you. And soon I'm going to have my ebook available for you on there as well. Oh, and I have some courses on that website too. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Together we can.